page 36 is in this edition. And here we'll just pick up from where Param Guru Mahārāj is giving us that verse from the Bhagavatam. Deyam sada paribhavagnam avishtadoham tirthas padam shiva virinchinutam sharanyam vratyartyaham pranatapala bhavabdipotam vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. O Mahaprabhu, your lotus feet are the highest object of meditation, for they not only destroy the pain of material existence, but they bestow the greatest fulfillment to all souls who take shelter beneath them. Your lotus feet even purify all saintly persons and holy places. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma aspire to take shelter beneath your lotus feet. Dandavat Pranam Arun Prabhu. Welcome.
Dandavat Prabhu, Dandavat Prabhu.
O Mahaprabhu, you give shelter to all who simply bow down before you. You relieve all the miseries of your surrendered servants. In the grand ship of your lotus feet, we can cross over this ocean of material existence, material miseries. O Mahaprabhu, I bow down before your lotus feet. After mentioning the incarnation of Godhead for the age of Kali, Srimad Bhagavatam suddenly begins this song in praise of that great Yuga avatar, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. With a grand voice, the Bhagavatam has come to sing the praise of that guide for Kali Yuga. This follows the verse which hints at the avatar of Kali Yuga. Do you know which verse Param Guru Mahārāj is alluding to? Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajna Sankirtana Prayar Yajanti Sumedasa. That is the clear Krishna avatar, or avatar of Kali Yuga in Bhagavatam. After that, then this praise, Dhyayam Sada Paribhavaganam Avishtadoham. So that's what's being explained here by Param Guru Mahārāj, is that first, the Yuga avatar, what he's doing, how he's descending very clearly, beyond doubt, and then in the second, starts shouting these praises by name. Vande Mahapurush Te Charanaravindam. Okay, back to Param Guru Mahārāj. Krishna Varnam means one who is always describing Krishna. Namaskar Anil ji, welcome. Krishna Varnam means one who is always describing Krishna, who always has on his lips the words Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Another meaning of this expression is one who is Krishna himself, but whose luster is not black. If we look deeply, we shall find that hidden beneath his golden luster is the blackish body of Krishna. With his own paraphernalia, he has come to this plane, and service to him is performed only by Sankirtan. Divine sound in mass prayer. By that symptom, we can recognize his divine position. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a hidden incarnation. He comes in disguise. Such an avatar is worshipped by the divinely intellectual. In this way, the Srimad Bhagavatam first describes that uncommon, extraordinary personality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in a mystic way, and then proclaims his nobility and greatness. The Srimad Bhagavatam explains that same personality who came as Ramachandra and Krishna has again appeared. He has come to direct you to the real fulfillment of life. He is drawing the sweetest nectar from above for the sake of everyone. Only meditate on him and all your troubles will be finished. He is the agent purifying all the holy places of pilgrimage and saintly persons by his touch. He is by his Sankirtan, by his drawing the highest things down from the highest plane. And even Brahma and Shiva, puzzled by his noble gift, will begin to praise him. They will eagerly aspire to take shelter under his lotus feet in surrender. The pains of all who come to serve him will be removed, and their inner necessities will be fulfilled, and he will take care of those who take shelter of him. They will be given protection as well as everything they may need. In this world, where mortality rules, where we are continually experiencing the undesirable changes of repeated birth and death, in this area where no one wants to live, a great ship will come for us and take us within and carry us away from this unpleasant position. Let us fall at the feet of that great personality who comes to give the highest nectar. Srimad Bhagavatam continues, Tyaktava sadustyaja surepsita rajalakshmim dharmishta aravachasa tadagadharanyam maya mragam daitepsitam manvadhavad vande mahapurushate charnaravindam. O Supreme Lord, you gave up the goddess of fortune and her great opulence, which is most difficult to abandon, and is sought after even by the gods. In order to perfectly establish the principles of religion, you left for the forest to honor the Brahmana's curse, to deliver the sinful souls who chase illusory pleasures. Mayamrigam. You search after them and award them your devotional service. At the same time, you are engaged in search of yourself, in search for Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given this explanation that although it seems that this verse applies to Lord Ramachandra, who left his kingdom and went with Sita Devi to the forest to discharge the duties designed by his father, this also applies to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has drawn out the internal meaning of this verse and applied it in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tyaktava sadustyaja surepsita rajalakshmim means he left imperial prosperity, which is hard to abandon. Generally, we find this in the case of Lord Ramachandra. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Surepsita Rajya means the valuable devotional company of Vishnupriya Devi. That may not appear to be a materially big thing, but the dedication that Vishnupriya has shown in her heart for Mahaprabhu, for Sriman Mahaprabhu, is greater than any imperial standard. And he had to leave that behind. Such a standard of sacrifice and service is never found even among the great society of the gods. For the sake of the public welfare, he had to ignore the serving, loving attitude of Vishnupriya. The curse of a Brahmana. This verse mentions the curse of a Brahmana. That Brahmana told Sriman Mahaprabhu, I want to participate in your nocturnal kirtans in which you taste Krishna Lila. But the doors are closed. When Sriman Mahaprabhu used to perform kirtan and taste the Braja Lila of Krishna, he did so behind closed doors in deep night. But this Brahmana thought himself a very qualified religious person because he lived only by drinking milk and nothing else. So he said, I must have entrance into that kirtan. I do not eat anything but milk. Why should I not be allowed? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, milk drinking is no qualification for entering into Krishna consciousness. The Brahmana said, then I curse you to lose your family life. All right, Mahaprabhu said and accepted the curse. And later he took sannyas and chased after those who were misguided by Maya Devi in order to save them. At the same time, although he is Krishna, he accepted the mood of Srimati Radharani for these two reasons. He left his apparently worldly life, he acted for the welfare of the public, and after finishing that work, spent the next 12 years tasting the very inner aspiration of Srimati Radharani and searching after his own inner sweetness. This was what he came to show to the world. In this mystic way, Srimad Bhagavatam has proclaimed the magnanimous appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in our so-called, just to pause here, our Hindu or Vedic system, no one can challenge or debate anything that is clearly stated in Srimad Bhagavatam as that is accepted universally as an axiomatic fact. And from there, Param Guru Mahārāj has drawn these verses, explained them in our Parampara system to be exactly foretelling the coming of Sriman Mahaprabhu.
And that it is hidden and it is for Sumedisa.
There's one question when he says that you were cursed by a Brahmin. Is that happened in there, Ramachandra? I thought it did. Okay, I'm not familiar with that actual aspect.
So yeah, that did happen actually. I think it happened to the curse. The curse was to Dasrath, Mahārāj Dasrath, if I'm not wrong. He actually accidentally killed the Brahmana's son, I think. Arun Prabhu. Is that right?
Yes, that is Shravan Kumar.
Shravan Kumar. So, and then that Maya Mrig that refers to is Marichi. Marichi disguised himself, shape-shifted into this golden deer to lure Ramachandra away from Sita Devi. So that refers to that Maya Mrig. But Maya Mrig in the case of Mahaprabhu is the people who are running after these wealth and other material things of Maya Devi. Maya Mrigam Daidepsitam Manvadhavad. He's running after them and giving them the highest gift. So this verse fits for both Lord Ramachandra and Shriman Mahaprabhu. And again, in the end, it says, Bande Mahaprabhu te Charanaravindam, as in the previous verse. Previous verse, we already know that is for Mahaprabhu, because it begins after that verse of Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, which is Mahaprabhu. That is no one else. Then after that is the verse, the Bande Mahapurushte Charnaravindam, Pranatapal Bhavabdipotam Bande Mahapurushte Charnaravindam. Then Tyaktavasadustyaja Surepsita Rajalakshmi. So, and it ends Bande Mahapurushte Charnaravindam. So these three are kind of like a little set for Sriman Mahaprabhu. So that's how we recognize the Lord's descent, when He descends. Other plenary portions and portions of portions and things of that nature like that are happening all the time. Countless ways. And other ways also. But as He is, that cannot be hidden. That will be in the scripture, it will be foretold. That's the way to recognize. If someone cannot otherwise, then you go to the scripture and then you will find that it is foretold.
Prabhu, that last part where he's running after his desired object, I'm looking at database right now. That's how they're describing it, but here describing it as you are engaged in search of yourself. That does seem to be more pointed towards Mahaprabhu than Lord Chandra, you would think.
Correct. Absolutely. So in a mystic way, it is explained because he is a Chan avatar, or a avatar in disguise, and not overtly visible as in other cases. So Srimad Bhagavatam foretells, but in a mystic way. So we have to wear the lens of our parampara system, and then we are clearly able to see. Otherwise, it's all hazy.
And it's through Mahaprabhu we can get a proper understanding of Krishna. Only through Mahaprabhu.
Because that is the way, because Lord Krishna really directly has nothing to do with this existence. He's not interested in our pious deeds, or like the Brahmana saying, hey, I'm drinking milk, why am I not being permitted into your nocturnal kirtans? I deserve to. And Sriman Mahaprabhu just plainly tells him that Sorry, that is not the way it works. Yes, Arun Prabhu, please.
Prabhuji, I like to just share my own evolution. And it is so unfortunate that people who are in Bharatvarsh, even who understand and appreciate Sri Krishna, rare are those who understand the Leela of Krishna was only visible or documented, known by a very tiny amount. All the pastimes of Krishna, and especially the devotional loving pastimes of Krishna, is only revealed to the world by Srimad Mahaprabhu and his Dev-Goswāmīs. So, and then thereafter, there are so many Swami this much, and so on, and then celebration and an imperfect worship of Srimati Radha and the pastimes that has come up, and that is the one that we know in a temporal way, not knowing what is the source. When did it become visible? When was it prakashit? And there are many, at least I can say in Uttar Pradesh, in that Ganga and Yamuna belt, that are supposedly devoted to Sri Radha Krishna, without telling the devotees or their followers to say who is the one who prakashit this, Srimad Mahaprabhu. And thus we don't even know the name of Srimad Mahaprabhu, though we are coming from very close to that land. How special it is, and how unfortunate for the non-knowing people it is all that I would like to share from my journey.
It's, very, very well said. And another thing that kind of goes with what you say, Arun Prabhu, is anyone who claims to be a Krishna Bhakt, pure or otherwise, because a lot of people do, it. We all know it. People go, I'm pure devotee or something. And then I had knowledge of such a person and a few years back, and so I just asked them a simple question, like, sir, what is the position of Srimad Mahaprabhu? And they could not answer. They just avoided. But that was an answer for me. Like, if you are actually someone devoted to Krishna at that level, and you do not know about Srimad Mahaprabhu, then it's a sham. Very simple.
Absolutely.
So this is about the persons who claim, like, we're the guru of all gurus, and we're this and we're that, and we're Krishna Bhakt, and we have 1 million hits on YouTube, kind of gurus. That is not. Fortunately, popularity is not a criterion in true Krishna consciousness. Luckily.
And then there are many, including in my family, who greet with Radhe Radhe and not understand.
Yeah. The position of one such gentleman in our extended family is like, oh yeah, come, I'll show you Vrindavan. I'm like, okay. My dandavats to you. I said, I'm not eligible right now, and you're too high. So we'll meet when we meet, but right now, just let me be where I am. I'm in a very degraded kind of a position, just trying to hold on to a few things here and there. And you're saying you'll show me? I said, no, I don't want to see. So thank you. So he was surprised. He's like, but I thought that's what you want. I'm like, no, not really. I don't want to kind of pollute the whole thing. But so anyway, that was that. There's people like that. Like, oh yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you. Don't worry. Okay. And Sriman Mahaprabhu, we don't know.
Well, I did have another question too, in that one of the previous verses, it talks about the divine intelligence. Well, Mahārāj describes it as divine intelligence. And, we'll come to understand Mahaprabhu. But I'm wondering, because, I don't know if it's talking about the same intelligence that we think of, because it doesn't seem like you have to necessarily be intelligent to join Mahaprabhu's mission. Proper intelligence, it seems like you're talking about here, is heart.
So that's true. In here, he's explained it a bit more in another phrase, saying divinely intellectual.
Right.
So although intellectual, yes, we can look up the dictionary and immediately we know what intellectual is. But divinely intellectual is different. And remember, Mahaprabhu's conception actually really starts from the place where Jnane Prayasam Udapasya. Remember that? So those were like the hard-hearted intellectuals will not understand.
Grow out. Gracias.
So it's a natural kind of a filter, you may say, for sorting. But because theism, is different. One has to be theistic. To be divinely intellectual, that's a prerequisite to be theistic. Now, of course, there can be exceptions where someone is posing as an agnostic or out and out non-believer, and then suddenly they turn. But that's all kind of like a prearrangement. That's not. That's not chaos or chaotic happenings. But by and large, one has to be theistic first to be able to possess that intellectual, divine intellectual sentiment. Otherwise, one is not able to recognize or feel whatsoever what is going on in Gaur Leela. And the mysticism is so wonderful that if one is all out and out, Gauranga Mahaprabhu's, if they're totally surrendered, and if yatha yatha Gaur Padaravinde Vindeta Bhaktim Krita Punna Rashi Tatha Tatho Pasarpati Hridya Kasmat Radha Padam Sadam Rashi. So if someone invests entirely, that's what it means. Rashi means your whatever that theistic intelligence and merit, divine merit, and divine intellectual capabilities, everything that you have, all together you invest at the lotus feet of Sriman Mahaprabhu, then Hridaya Kasmat, by this mystic way, it all transfers to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. That is the mystic way of approaching Krishna Leela. And like Chinmoy Prabhu said, without Gaur Leela, because Krishna Leela is all closed, it's behind closed doors, and no amount of sukriti or penances, austerities can make anyone eligible to be included in that. So then how do we get entrance? What is our hope? And like Arun Prabhu said, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that is exactly why he's come. What he's giving Swabhakti Shriyam. Swabhakti means what? Devotion unto himself. That is what he's giving. Krishnas Kaviraj Goswami Mahārāj, he says that. What is he giving? Swabhakti Shriyam. Hari Purata Sundara Diti Kadambu Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spurata Vasachinandana. He says, Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunna Tirna Kalau. Since the beginning of time, Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunna Tirna Kalau. No one is as munificent. Samarpaitum Unnato Jwalarasam Ujjalarasam. Unnato Jwalarasam Swabhakti Shriyam. And he is giving that highest devotion to himself, who is Krishna. Hari Purara Sundara Jyoti Kadambu Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratau Sachinandana. And that is his Ashirvad or blessing to all believers, that he may be established in the core of their hearts. That is the way to approach or to get entrance into Krishna Leela. No other way. Hare Krishna. Okay. So should we start the next section, next chapter, I guess, which is titled A Mysterious Incarnation. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he went to live in Jagannath Puri. There he converted the greatest scholar of the day, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. After meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great scholar Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya questioned his brother-in-law Gopinathacharya about the avatar of the present age, Kali Yuga. Gopinath had been living in Navadip and he was a follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In his own way, Sarvabhauma began to praise Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a beautiful man and a great scholar. I have great attraction for him, he said, but I don't think it wise that at such a young age he has taken sannyas. The renounced order of life. He has such a long life ahead of him. How will he be able to keep up the dignity of the life of a sannyasi, a life of renunciation? I can't sit by and do nothing. I like this boy very much. I shall have to help him as a guardian so that he may not lose his prestige by giving up sannyas, attracted by the fascination of worldly pleasures. Gopinath could not tolerate all this guardian-like advice. He told Sarvabhauma, this young man, who is very beautiful, charming and scholarly, has attracted your attention, and you want to become his guardian to keep up the purity of his life. Do you think you will have to help him? What do you mean by saying all these things? Don't you know that he is really the incarnation of Godhead for this age? He is the avatar for Kali Yuga. He inaugurated the Yuga Dharma of Nam Sankirtan in Navadip and his appearance is mentioned in the scriptures. See? Gopinath Acharya knew who he was talking to, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was a great scholar. So how did he end that sentence? He is mentioned in the scriptures. Sarvabhauma replied, no, no. You are not talking to an ordinary person. Don't think that you can say whatever you like and I will accept it. I am a hard nut to crack. What are you saying? There is no Kali Yuga avatar. One of the names of Vishnu mentioned in the Vishnu Sahasranam is in the Mahabharata is Triyuga. The Lord who appears only in 3 ages. That means that the Lord has no incarnation in Kali Yuga except Kalki, who is a pastime incarnation and not the Yuga avatar, the incarnation of the age. Gopinath replied, you think yourself so learned, but although you have studied all the scriptures and are so proud of your learning, the Mahabharata and Srimad Bhagavatam are the main scriptures of the followers of eternal religious principles. And still, you have no particular knowledge about that. Next section reads, not man but God. At that time, Gopinath Acharya quoted passages from the Srimad Bhagavatam and Mahabharata. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, Suvarna Varna Himango. In this way, he pressed his point. Here we find the direct avatar for the age of Kali. He has appeared to spread Nam Sankirtan. He is not a man, but the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. Sarvabhauma said, no, no, go away. Mind your own business. Don't think that you can instruct me. And in this way they argued. Later, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I would like to teach you Vedanta philosophy so that you can keep up the standard of your renunciation. I will teach you that this world is nothing, so that you never feel any charm to again enter into mundane life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, you are my guardian. Whatever you say I must do. I will come and learn Vedanta philosophy from you at whatever time is suitable for you. Then Gopinath Acharya told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma is saying this because he doesn't know your real identity. Sriman Mahaprabhu replied, why are you speaking against him? He's my guardian. He was my father's classmate, so he has great affection for me. It is out of affection that he poses himself as my guardian and looks after my welfare. I don't find any fault in that. Next section reads, 7 days of silence. In a few days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to hear Vedanta from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and as Sarvabhauma would speak, he would remain silent like a good boy, as if he were hearing with a submissive attitude. But after he had been teaching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 7 days, Sarvabhauma had some doubt in his mind. It's like 7 days, that's like a long time. He thought, what is the matter? I am such a great scholar in Vedanta and logic, and I am trying my best with all my intelligence to put before him the inner meaning of Vedanta, but I draw no response from him. He is only quietly attending my discourse as if he is deaf and dumb. And I can't say that he does not understand me, for he has a sharp intellect. I am sure of this. But still he gives no appreciation, no response whatsoever. He raises no question and gives no indication whether he understands or not. Nothing of the kind. Then what am I doing? He could not keep to himself any longer. He put the question straight to the Lord. For more than 7 days I have been explaining the inner meaning of Vedanta to you. Many sannyasis come to me to learn about Vedanta. But you don't have any question about my talk, my explanation. You maintain a strange and wonderful silence. What is the reason? Next section reads, Atheistic Scholarship. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed himself. He said, Sarvabhauma, what you explain is on the basis of Shankara's philosophy. But I heard that it was by the order of the Lord that Shankaracharya concealed the real purpose of Vedanta. Its author, Vyasadeva, is a completely theistic person. And he has prepared this Vedanta. But what you say is all based on atheistic scholarship. Sarvabhauma was a very intelligent man. He realized in a very gentle way, he wants to tell me that what I am explaining is all bogus. I am laboring diligently to explain Vedanta to my utmost capacity for the last 7 days, and now he shows his true colors and says that what I am explaining is all false. What is he saying? Still in a gentlemanly way, Sarvabhauma, with some hesitation, asked Sriman Mahaprabhu, you say that what I have been explaining for the last 7 days is all unsubstantial and unreal. Then can you give the proper meaning? If this is all improper and false, then what is the real meaning of Vedanta? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu humbly replied, if you order me to explain Vedanta, I will try. The sutras or codes of Vedanta are lustrous in themselves. They are self-evident. The proper reading of the sutras leads towards Parabrahman Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began with this introduction. He said that Srimad Bhagavatam is the real explanation and commentary on Vedanta. It is mentioned in the Garuda Puran. Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam Brharthartha Vinirnaya Gayatri Bhasyarupausau Vedartha Paribrahmitam. Srimad Bhagavatam represents the real purport of Vedanta Sutra. And although it is very difficult to draw out the real purpose of the 100,000 verse epic Mahabharata, the great history of the world, Srimad Bhagavatam has come to give its real meaning. The mother of all Vedic knowledge is the Gayatri Mantra. Srimad Bhagavatam gives the gist of Gayatri in a very full-fledged way. And the supplementary truths of the Vedas are also found within Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, Vedanta must be explained in the line of the truth which has been expressed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Only then can the real meaning be understood. Very important. Just to pause here, Sriman Mahaprabhu pointed out that Vedvyasa is the one who has actually come up with Vedanta. And then he, in a full-fledged way, put a commentary on Vedanta as Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is by the same author. It's not like someone has tried to understand Ved Vyas and then come up with a commentary. Because then logicians can argue, well, there could be some dissonance, there could be this and that. But in Ved Vyasa's case, he himself wrote that commentary in a full-fledged way. So he has explained the sutras and the meaning, conclusions that one needs to draw from Vedanta in Srimad Bhagavatam. The aspiration of liberated souls. When Srimad Mahaprabhu mentioned Srimad Bhagavatam, Sarvabhaum, being a learned Pandita, could not deny its validity. He said, yes, I also like Srimad Bhagavatam. And I especially like this one very beautiful verse. At that time, Sarvabhauma, to regain his lost prestige, began to explain the Atmaram verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Atmaramascha muniyo nirgrantha api rukrame kurvantya haitukim bhaktim ittam bhutaguno hari. Lost prestige. So the explanation of a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam is being delved into only to regain lost prestige. Okay. Even the liberated souls, fully satisfied in the self, are irresistibly attracted by the super excellent qualities of Krishna and surrender to him with unalloyed devotion. Sarvabhauma explained this verse in 9 different ways. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as before, sat silently hearing. After he had finished his explanation, Sarvabhauma thought that he had regained his position to a certain extent. Still, as a courtesy, he asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are you satisfied with this explanation? If you can give any more light to this verse, I will listen to that. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, if you order me, I may try. Then he gave 18 different types of explanations of that verse, leaving aside the 9 already given by Sarvabhauma. At that time, while listening to the explanation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma gradually saw that he was losing his position. His pride was finished. Astounded, he thought, this youth, this young boy is not an ordinary person. No ordinary intellect can refute my arguments. Leaving aside all of my attempts to explain this verse, he gave 18 wonderful explanations of this particular verse. What is this? Such consistent, irresistible, devotional, and beautiful explanations are coming, superseding all those that with great energy and effort I explained. No human being can surpass my explanations. No human intellect can cross mine. This is a different sort of explanation. It is all encompassing. But it is coming from this young boy. What is this? Mystic revelation. Gradually he lost his faith in himself and became baffled. He recalled how Gopinatha Acharya had said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not a human being and thought it is not possible for a human to explain things in this way. It is something supernatural. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed to Sarvabhauma his spiritual position as Narayana and Krishna combined. In a trance, Sarvabhauma saw all these things and fell at the Lord's feet and almost completely lost consciousness. So here you see, just a pause here, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed himself as Narayana and Krishna to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Remember? And when we were going through Raya Ramananda Samvad, he revealed his identity as Sri Radha Krishna combined. Right? And that was only to Ramananda Raya, no one else. Never before, never after. Back to Param Guru Maharaj. When he arose from his trance, he saw that boy still sitting there like a student with great humility. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, "May I go for today?" Sarvabhauma said, "Yes, you may go now." The Lord went away, and Sarvabhauma remained there. After some time, he recovered and began to think. What have I seen? Four-handed Narayan, then Krishna playing the flute? I was not defeated by a man. That is my solace. Sarvabhauma became a changed man and composed 2 verses. So, if you permit, I'd like to pause here for, it's been nearly an hour, and this is like so compelling and so beautiful. I don't feel like putting it down, but we must, so that we can pick it back up again. So I'll pause here, and then we'll go through the 2 verses next time and complete it. Complete the verses and continue. So, Namaskar Preeti ji, Anika, and Nandarani Didi is here, Dandavat Pranam. Ramananda Prabhu is here, Dandavat. And Anil ji is also here. Hope he can hear us. And let's see here on Facebook.
Yes, sir. Not on video, but yes, I can hear you. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
I was just listening to that wonderful story, right? Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Dandavat. So here on Facebook, we have Raj Bhavan Yadav, our Namaskar, and Madhav Prabhu is here, Dandavat, and Dandavat and Pranam to Raj Bhavan Yadav, and Ranga Devi Dasi ji says Hari Bol to everyone, Namaskar, Dandavat Pranam to you. And to everyone else that I cannot see, because I can see only limited stuff here on my dashboard. And then let's see. Let me see if I can gather the troops here. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Otherwise, we'll have Anika sing. Are you available?
भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
Bhaj Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Advaita Gadadhar
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Haraya
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Yadavaya Madhavaya
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Gopal
Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan
Giridhari Gopinath
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
Chaitanya Nityananda
Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Ichai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan Jaha hoite Vignana Shabhishta Puran Ichai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas Tan Savara Padarenu Mura Panchagas Tandera Charana Se Bhi Bhakta Sane Bas Jana me mora ei abhilash Ichai Gosai Jabe Braja Koilabas Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Hari Naam Sankirtana Kohe Narottama Das
Naam Sankirtanam Narottama Das
Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Adhavaya Madhavaya Namaha.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar, Jai Gauranga Sundar.
Jai Gauranga Sundar,
Jai. Anika ji, whenever you're ready, take it away. Jai.
Om Padmaksha Parvachak Jadavriya Astachada Satashri Srimad Bhakti Sundar Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Padmaksha Parvachak Jadavriya Astachada Satashri Srimad Bhakti Rakṣhak Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Padmaksha Parvachak Jadavriya Astachada Satashri Srimad Bhakti Sinata Savasti ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Shipad Shilabhakshara Daswamji Mahārāj ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Shipad Shilabhakshara Nand Bhakti Vinodha Thakur ki Jai. Om Shipad Shilabhakshara Daswamji Mahārāj ki Jai. Shri ki Jai. Shri Namacharya Shilabhakshara Das Thakur ki Jai. Ananta Krishna Vinda ki Jai. Shri Vidyabhushan ki Jai.
Jai.
Śrīla Vishnava Chakrati Prabhu ki Jai. Śrīla Tamashamanda Srinivasacharya Prabhu ki Jai.
Jai.
Śrīla Spur ki Jai.
Jai.
Śrīla Krishnadas Kaviraj ki Jai.
Jai.
Saprasad Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Saprasad Shri Mahaprabhu ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamkunda Radhakunda ki Govardhan ki Jai.
Jai.
Lakshmi Pardeva ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Vinasha Shri Narasimha Deva ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhakta Prabhupada Mahārāj ki Jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Mahārāj ki Jai. Jamna ki Jai.
Jai.
Sant Radhakૃष्ण Bhagavatam Chaitanya Charamatra ki Jai. Vishwa Vaishnava Sabha ki Jai. Apat Chaitanya Mat ki Jai. Tadisha Kumar ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai.
Jai.
Vishwa Kabiya Dariya Sakamat ki Jai. Sri Devnar ki Jai. Sri Devnapriti ki Jai. Vindavan Prasatan Dham ki Jai. Om Divas Pada Jamna ji ki Jai. Sri Govindi Kund ki Jai. Mukherjee ki Jai. Sampita Vishnu Mandu ki Jai. Samvit Arthavinda ki jai.
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan ki jai.
Jai.
Nitai Gopnande Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bol. Jai Shri Anika ji, Preeti ji, Bikram ji and family ki jai. Our divine panelist Shripad Chinmoy Dev Prabhu ki jai. Our divine panelist Shripad Arun Krishna Prabhu ki jai. Nandarani Didi ki jai. Ramananda Prabhu ki jai. Our guest Anil ji ki jai. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Mahārāj ki jai. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Mahārāj ki jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math Acharya Vrinda ki jai. Vishwarenna Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Nittai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Sripad Jairam Prabhu ki jai. Abha Didi ki jai. Davanika Didi ki jai. Nav Prabhu ki jai. All the devotees ki jai.
Oh, Hari Bol.